Hey, Camye from 29er Online doing another test. I've been testing the Intense Spider 29er. Had a few rides on it, and I've got to say, personally speaking for myself, thus far it's been by far my favorite bike. I've really been wanting to try the VPP suspension, and have really enjoyed it. The first bike was a little more longer travel by Intense, and the Spider 29er has kind of been a little more my speed and my preference thus far. What I really found that distinguished this bike from most 29ers has been the very short top tube. To be honest, it rode like a 26er. It was that nimble on corners, climbing, descending, and in rocky gardens. I was really able to maneuver the bike very easily. It's really hard for me to find, in my opinion, fault on this bike. For my style of riding, this would be the kind of bike I would want. You may ask, what style of riding is that? I'm more of an endurance cross-country rider. I don't shy away from technical stuff. I don't shy away from long rides. I really prefer to go out and do longer rides and or longer races. I really start to get my groove 2 or 3 hours into a race. I would say if you're going to get this bike though, you probably would want to get sized for it. If you're kind of in between sizes, having the shortened top tube is certainly a plus. But if you're in between sizes, you may want to go up a size. You don't need to go up a size per se, but if you're in between sizes, you might want to do that. So I would encourage you to go to your local bike shop and get fitted for this bike, because you know it is noticeable having that shorter top tube. It puts you in a little more upright position, but again, it makes it a more maneuverable, nimble bike, and you're able to really churn through some tight technical sections.
All right, so Camye, talk to me about what do you think about its climbing ability?
For me, the climbing ability was great. I thought for myself, having the shorter top tube, and I generally have long legs and long arms, and it climbed very nicely for me. It almost kind of puts you in that upright position and puts you where you need to be climbing a technical, steep, hard hill. I really had no problem climbing hills, and I thought with the the design of the frame itself, not to mention the VPP in the rear, I felt that it worked, I want to say flawlessly almost, for lack of a better word, for me, because it really had no give. When you were climbing a hill, you'd hit like a rock or a root or something a little more technical. It tended to, instead of spinning, it would dig into the ground and just grind up hills.
Okay, Matt, let's switch over to Matt quick. Matt, what do you think about its climbing ability?
I would have to agree with everything Camye just said. I mean, climbing wise, just on a fast climb, it went. You didn't have to think about it. On a steeper climb, you didn't have issues with traction nor with the front end wandering. You know, it just did its thing. And in general, in talking to friends about the bike, one of the things that always came up is it's a bike you just get on and you feel good about. I bring a little bit of a different perspective in that one of the main bikes in my stable at home is a Intense 5.5, and I enjoy this in a lot the same way I enjoy that bike, although this is a little bit more efficient for me. You got the benefit of the bigger wheels, and it's just a little bit tighter climbing. I've ridden it for a few weeks now, and I've had it on all kinds of terrain. I've had it on single track, I've had it through these rock gardens that we're sitting in right now. I've even took it on one greenway ride and rode all around town for 25 miles. It had everything locked out, and everything was just great. I mean, it's just a good all-arounder. If I was forced to have one bike, which I'm fortunate not to be, this would be one that I would consider.
Camye, what do you think as far as, let's talk about a little bit about the descending ability. Where do you think its limits are?
Limits. It could be a little limiting in the fact that it is a very, for lack of a better word, nimble and or twitchy bike. If you're kind of used to a longer top tube and a bike that is a little more, for lack of a better word, swoopy, this bike will turn on a dime, and you got to be ready for that. But for me, I rather enjoy that, and I prefer that, but not everybody does. So that would be something you would certainly have to get used to. But, I think it's something you could acclimate to quite easily.
Okay, Matt, what do you think?
Of all the 29ers I tested, with the exception of very few, if any, coming down, coming to a drop where you have to pull the front end up quickly, sometimes unexpectedly, this is a bike that I could comfortably do that. And that's been one of my complaints on some of the other 29ers is that they feel front heavy to me in that situation. Either if they get in the air, which I don't do a lot of, or if you're pointing down and have to do a quick dropout. So that's been my biggest strength on it. Again, I don't, I'm one that just gets out and rides, but I don't have a lot of weaknesses to tell you about. It's a good bike.
Okay, Camye, do you feel like it has any weakness?
I personally don't. I mean, I'll kind of go back to what I said about the descending. I think their weakness is a matter of opinion. To me, that was not a weakness. To some people, it might have to be an adjustment.
Okay, so real quick, who would you say should buy this bike?
Anybody that's saved a little money and really wants to find a bike that will pretty much kind of do everything for them. I think it's an all-day riding bike. I think you could certainly ride 8, 10, 12 hours in it. You could easily ride a 24-hour race and not have to worry about getting fatigued. This bike is not going to fatigue you at all. The suspension design is so precise and so spot on. It doesn't waste your energy on climbs or descents. So that being said, it's going to be for somebody a cross-country rider. I don't think a free rider's going to want to get this kind of bike. I think it's going to be an all-day cross-country rider, somebody that wants to really step it up and get a bike that can do pretty much any cross-country racing, whether it be a 45-minute race or 12-hour endurance race or 24-hour race. So I think it's going to be geared to your cross-country riders. I think the good thing about this bike is having a shorter top tube. I think a lot of women, speaking from a woman's point of view, I think a lot of women could certainly get on this bike and fit it well. I know sometimes women have a harder time fitting on 29er bikes because women generally tend to be shorter than men, but having the shorter top tube I think can be very accommodating to a shorter guy or a woman. I found it very accommodating for me, but I'm pretty tall for a girl. But that being said, just a straight up cross-country rider would be very happy on this, whether it be somebody just getting started or somebody that's been spinning for a long time. An expert rider would be real happy with this bike.
Okay, Matt, what do you think?
I would say cross-country, but gravitating towards an all-mountain rider. And the difference between a straight-up pure cross-country bike, which, it's not dainty light, but this bike you could go with confidence into the stuff we're sitting in right now, or coming down the mountain or whatever. I think if you wanted to go 29er and have a bike that's flickable or handleable, and that you can ride all day, it'd be the way to go. To me, that relates to all mountain.
Okay, real quick, 1 to 10, what would you give it? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the best?
I don't give 10, so I'd give it about an 8.5.
All right, Camye?
I give it a 9, 9.5. But that's, for me, this kind of bike and this suspension design and this way this bike performs is what I'm looking for out of a bike.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Taking one for the team.
Yeah, right there. Look at that, man. That's a purple.
I'm in the sunshine. Let's get close.
I'm proud of my purple palm.
Wow, look at you.